Welcome back, everybody. You're back with Keeping Up with Senior Solutions today, and your host, your co-hosts, I should say, Jim and Joann are here. Happy to be on air with you again. And we have the pleasure of interviewing our Executive Director, Mark Boutwell, and hear all about his experiences this year as his first year as Executive Director and what his goals and aspirations are for the organization, what he's learned, all the different ideas he's come up with, and his opinion on how we're doing. So thank you very much. And let's get started. Jim, are you ready?
I'm ready. And
Mark, are you ready?
I'm all ready.
All right, gang, hang in there. You're going to have lots of nice new information. So I'll start off, but then I'll let Jim ask a lot of questions too. So Mark, want to tell the audience how long you have been our Executive Director?
So I think in 2 weeks, I will have been here in this position 1 year. So that's hard to believe, isn't it? That it's been a whole year since I took on this position. It's been a busy year, a lot going on, and very exciting year for me. So yeah, it's kind of hard to believe, 1 year.
Yeah, we would say you probably were not the luckiest person in the world to be assuming the responsibility during the COVID pandemic, because there were so many challenges. But thanks, I'll let you guys talk for a few minutes.
That was a challenge indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to know Mark when I was working at Senior Solutions part-time, and I know his heart is really committed to making Senior Solutions very successful. It's successful now, but it's gaining every day as well. One of the things that I looked up a little bit about your background that really, got me really in tune to the type of person. So I wanted to make a comment on this statement. It's a statement that you like. The biggest,
Jim, I can't hear you.
The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, we listen to reply. How do you put that in practice?
So first of all, just Jim, when you turn your head away, we can't hear you so well. So
okay.
I'm in this position. Part of the excitement for me in this position is I've done a lot of work and study of leadership, and I have to say one of my all-time favorite leadership gurus, if you will, is Stephen Covey. And you may know that he wrote this very popular book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or Leaders. And one of the habits is, to quote, seek first to understand and then to be understood. And this really resonates with me. I also, my past is in mental health, and so I really have been in a profession where listening is an important skill, and really trying to understand where someone else comes from and what their situation is. So I really value listening, and here at Senior Solutions, one of our values is being very person-centered. And that by nature involves really attending to someone, listening to what they have to say. What is their story? What are their needs? And really setting aside any of our agenda, any of our ideas or things that we want to accomplish, to just listen and hear what our clients are saying to us. And for me, also listening to what our staff are saying. You know, what are the staff saying that they need to do a good job? That was certainly something we paid a lot of attention to during the pandemic. Not that we're out of it, but we really had to listen to what the staff were feeling and needing, and balance that with the science of what the health department was saying and the state. So really listening, understanding what's important to people, and what makes them tick, and what brings them excitement and joy, and what they really need in their lives to succeed, to live comfortably in the place of their choice, which is our mission, to support people in living in the environment of their choice. So all that really comes together with how we conduct our business here.
You know, that's so true. I know I help out a little bit with the surveys we give our people that are receiving support from our case managers, and they are talking that it's a very good survey because it gives you the feedback that you're just talking about. How do you utilize that survey with your case managers?
So we as an agency on aging, we have to submit an area plan every 3 years to the state of Vermont, to the Department of Disabilities, Aging and Independent Living. And that in that plan are some goals and objectives for our case management services. So this survey asks questions about some of those goals, and when we get the responses, we take them back to our staff and talk about, so here's some trends we're seeing. Maybe some clients feel that our responses aren't very timely, or that sometimes it's more about services they need from the state. So we incorporate that into our individual supervision, and I incorporate that into my conversations with the folks at the Department of Disabilities, Aging and Independent Living. Certainly workforce is an issue that came up a lot in our survey. People just don't have personal care or homemakers that they need. So that's something that I carry up to the state, the folks at the state and the Department of Disabilities, Aging and Independent Living, to say, here's a need we have. So yes, we use that information to inform our services and the folks at the state.
Thank you, Mark. It seems to me that you kind of have a foot in two camps, which makes it a little bit challenging. You have one foot in the state organizations, all of the people we collaborate with, presenting us to them and working and, coordinating with them. And also you have your other foot managing the staff and all of us, what we like to call herding cats. And just wondering, one of the things that you had mentioned to me before was your achievements in your mind would be probably working really hard to bring the staff together and improve our morale. And you stated several ways in which you had hoped to accomplish that. Could you share that with us?
Sure. Well, I would just say that I think overall we've been successful in that. When I started out last year, Joann, I put out a message of optimism. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that a year later, almost every day I see indications of that. I hear messages from staff. I hear conversations in the hallways, and it really is evident that staff morale has improved. The things that we've done to make that happen. Well, one thing, we took a hard look at our pay grades and our pay ranges, and across the board, pretty much we made some significant increases to bring people's wages up to a more market standard. So that's
Nice.
one thing we've done. Again, we were very attentive to the concerns about the pandemic and making sure that everybody felt safe and heard about masking and precautions to take. So that's something we've paid attention to. I would say that we've paid a lot of attention to just our internal communication and being clear and timely about communication, being inclusive of staff, really again trying to make sure everybody has a voice and can be heard, and then be clear about where we're headed. You know, that's one of the things that really brings people together is clarity. If there's indecision, that creates additional stress for people. So we want to take people's input and then create policies and practices in the agency that and communicate those clearly, so people know what to expect. People need to know what to expect, so that they're not stressed out wondering what's going to happen next. So I think we've done all those things pretty well. And I have to say, I feel very fortunate. We have a very strong leadership team, and they've come together very well over the past year. They make informed decisions, and I feel like that's a really critical piece of our agency right now. And I think that shows in how the staff respond. Again, I've heard very positive responses to the decisions that the leadership makes, and just expressions of confidence in the leadership team, which are really heartwarming, I have to say.
Oh, that's good. You know, you're right, because one of your goals is to increase our visibility in the communities. But when you have a team who's behind you, like your staff is, I think that gives you a real solid base to get out there and work with the hospitals, to work with the adult day centers and all these other people that we work with. And I have to say that you are very appreciated, speaking for myself, but for mostly all the staff. Everybody only has nice things to say about you. So that you're up on the pedestal, Mark. So you better be careful. But you've done amazingly well.
You know what they say, the higher you go, the farther it is to fall down. So,
but the good thing is we'll all be there at the bottom to catch you. So, you know, would you like to say anything about the ARPA extra funding?
Sure, I'd love to. You know, that's an exciting opportunity for us. One of the mandates that we work within through the Older Americans Act is to be a leader in planning and developing a comprehensive system of services and supports for older Vermonters. And so we do that by networking with our various community providers, with a lot of other nonprofits in the area, senior centers, adult day centers, meal sites, and a variety of other social service agencies. This ARPA funding really enables us to help those agencies build capacity, to find new ways to reach out to our constituents, to find those folks who need additional services, who need additional supports, caregivers who are supporting someone with a dementia-related disorder who just need additional supports or respite or something like that. So this money, we've created a request for proposal grant program, and we just rolled it out a couple of weeks ago. And you know, there's been a lot of very positive response. People are very interested in the possibility of building out some some supports and additional programming. So, this is a great opportunity for us to be a good partner in the community and to find new ways to support our constituents. And that's just so important. That's what we're about here is being a leader in supporting those things, supporting those initiatives. And I guess the other thing that really resonates for me, Joann, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, we've done some work on the leadership team around our personal values and our agency values. And what's kind of come home to me is one of my personal values is stewardship. And when I think about things like the ARPA grants and the collaboration we do, it just comes back to stewardship for me. We, as an agency, we want to be a good steward. We want to use this money wisely for the betterment of our constituents and our community partners. And we want to support our staff in reaching out to our clients, and so all those things to me come back to being good stewards, stewards for the state of Vermont and for our clients.
Yeah, I think you've really got a good handle on that. And I have to say that, when we're trying to spread the word about the ARPA grants, it makes you feel proud that our organization is putting so much of our ARPA funding into that. We're being more than generous than a lot of other places, and that's why we're here. So that was good work. Yeah.
Again, that's an important value of mine in this role, is that we've had the benefit of this money coming in, and it's our responsibility to get it out to the community where it can be the most beneficial to folks. So I do feel strongly about that it's not something that we're just going to hold on to. It's meant to be out in the community.
So part of that must be that you need to, as a steward, need to share that money with other agencies that have that are in our locality that have similar goals as we do at Senior Solutions. In other words, instead of being competitive with one another, we are trying to help the same audience, basically, our seniors. And how do we do that as a non-competitive situation, but as a sharing situation?
Well, so that is built into the proposal, the request for proposal application, is really looking at what the goals of these other agencies are and making sure that they align with our goals. Mm-hmm. So we have built that in, and we have I've pulled together a proposal review committee from our staff and actually from some of the outside agencies as well, so that we can have really a good input into how do these proposals align with our mission and our goals, and so that we are strengthening the social network, the social support systems collaboratively, not competitively.
Right.
And we're all working toward the same goal of supporting more older Vermonters who need these supports, who need these services to live in the setting of their choice in our service area.
Right. Good.
Right. So these are, wonderful things to learn about Senior Solutions, but I'm going to ask you a more personal question. You ready?
Sure.
I'm going to ask you, if you knew then what you know now, would you still have taken the position?
Well, of course I would. I've been with the agency 8 years now, so I knew pretty much what I was getting into when I took this position. And I feel very fortunate. I feel well positioned to be in this role. I certainly learned a lot from my 8 years here, so I know kind of what the agency's about and how it fits in with the larger picture of services in the state. And I know the staff, so absolutely. It's been a busy year for sure, but I'm still very excited to be in this position and to be looking forward to what's ahead for us, and to be working with the staff and the leadership and really the community providers who are out there who really are doing a terrific job.
Yeah, I think the way you do it is pretty important. The fact that you listen to staff, you listen to volunteers, you listen to your management team, you listen to other agencies, you actually listen and process what you're learning from all the different organizations and people around you, and you pull that together and manage to come out with a vision and goals that are making sense. Make sense for the organization and make sense for the people we serve. And that's probably one of the reasons why we still like you. So
well, I'm glad you feel that it makes sense. We're winding up a strategic planning process. And, I think you give me too much credit, Joann, because for instance, the strategic planning process involved a lot of staff and some community partners. And so it's easy in that kind of forum to really generate a vision for where the agency needs to go. And so it's not just me, it's really the collective process that
Right.
brings this vision forward. And so I feel very fortunate to be part of that process.
Well, I'm just trying to say that your person-centered leadership, I think, has really done a lot to pull the team together. When you first took over and you had the retreat, I think that was a big help. It got everybody to know each other a little bit better and got us off on a good foot. So
Well,
that, yeah.
Sure. We work together 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And so, we all bring parts of our lives to our work, and we need to know who each other are as we're making decisions and as we're struggling with difficult issues like the pandemic and how we respond to that. So it's important to find ways to get to know each other a little better and to know what's important to each other, what our values are, so that we can find ways to come together when we're making decisions. And we can build trust among the leadership. Because that's the foundation of decision making, and being able to work out how we move forward is really being able to trust each other and work out our differences when we have them, and move forward.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know working with the surveys, I got to know a lot of our seniors that are receiving support from our case managers. And I'll tell you, well over, I think you need to base things on what does the data say? And if you look at the results of that survey, which is a very simple survey, but people were very pleased to participate. And I would say that the overwhelming answers to these questions were all very positive. I wouldn't be able to make it in a week if I didn't see or contact my case manager,
Mm.
or boy, I needed a ride to the dentist. I didn't know how to get there, but my case manager got me there. I mean, it was really impressive for kind of an outsider to hear what the seniors are saying. There was very few negative things. It was very positive, and I attribute that to your leadership because you put a lot of energy into supporting your case managers. If they have a problem or an issue, they feel that they can come and talk to you. That's not always, some people don't feel really uncomfortable in that situation because they think they're going to get blamed for something, but you have a kind of an open door. And I think that's that came out in the survey as far as I'm concerned, just with the attitude of the people that I talked to. So I think you've done a great job that way.
Well, and again, that's just my approach to leadership and management. It's not, I don't pretend to have all the answers, and I value input from everybody. Everybody has good ideas about how maybe we can improve our services, and so I'm happy to hear those and want people to feel like they can walk in my door and offer some insights or some ideas. I have to say, one of the wonderful things is that one of the helpline staff often comes and tells me about these calls that she has and how the caller is so grateful for something that we've done. So it's really, it's a support to staff, and it helps build the good morale to hear the good stories that people have to share. And so, we have a tremendous case management staff. Many of them have been here for many years, which I think is a testament to the agency overall, that we really have good staff retention, and they know all the services. They know, they're so important in terms of connecting clients to services and being ambassadors for our agency. So I think we are very fortunate to have that level of commitment and loyalty among our case managers, and that level of experience, so they can connect clients to resources that they need. So I'm just happy to be able to support that in any way I can.
Right. So this little TV show goes out to a lot of people. Listen to it or view it. Are there openings for positions to work at Senior Solutions now that maybe our listening audience might be a good applicant? I don't know.
Sure. Actually, we are recruiting. We want to build capacity in our case management team. So we are recruiting for 2 additional case managers, so that we can serve more clients across our service area. And we're also, I have to say that our longtime case management supervisor, Gary Hilliard, retired last week after 28 plus years working for Senior Solutions. So we are recruiting for that position, which is going to be a challenge to fill Gary's shoes. Yeah. He had so much knowledge and experience and was so loved by his staff that it is going to be quite a challenge.
And a good storyteller.
He could tell you, he had so many wonderful stories about the clients he worked with. And absolutely, it's always very heartwarming to hear him talk about the clients that he helped who were really in desperate situations. Yeah. So yes, we want to build out our case management program a little bit, and we want to find someone who really has a strong supervisory background who could support them in the same way that Gary did.
Good.
Can we remind people about our website in case they want to put in an application with a cover letter? So that would be, direct that to, go on to www.seniorsolutionsvt.org, and you will find the information about how to apply for one of these positions. Thank you. And Mark, I was wondering, you recently were interviewed on Across the Fence on WCAX,
Yeah.
but you didn't have a whole lot of time. So is there anything else you would like to talk about regarding our memory cafes and other programs?
Well, what I'd like to, I guess, expand on is really the crisis that we're in with supporting caregivers. When we think about the current workforce shortages across the state and across the nation, everybody says, where did all the workers go? Well, one thing that doesn't get mentioned much is that many workers, and mostly women, often leave their employment to caretake a loved one who has dementia or Alzheimer's disease or even mild cognitive impairment. And this has impacted the workforce, and it impacts people's economic well-being. If caregivers are leaving the workforce to care for a loved one, that's an income that isn't available anymore. So when we talk about memory cafes, Memory Cafe is a gathering to support caregivers, a place where they can come, they can share their concerns, they can find maybe some educational resources, some information on how that will support them in caring for a loved one who has this very debilitating disease. And it's a place also that will provide some brief respite for them from the direct responsibility of caring for their loved one. So we are in the process of developing 2 or 3 Memory Cafe sites around the service area, and those events would happen hopefully monthly or as often as possible, and they would be supported by staff, and we would find ways to provide respite at the same time. So it is an area that is really critical as we think about our growing population of folks who are 65 and over in Vermont, and that is growing every year. The percentage of Vermonters who are 65 and over is increasing. I think the projection is that by 2030, about 1 in 4 Vermonters will be 65 or older. And
yeah, that's only 8 years away.
Yes. Right. So these programs like Memory Cafes are really critical for supporting folks who are caring for loved ones. Yeah. Just some statistics if you want them. In Windsor County, currently has about a population of 57,700, and 24% of that population is 65 and over. So we're already almost right. We're at 25, almost at 25%. So that's almost 14,000 people in Windsor County who are 65 and older. And here's another striking percentage for you, that in Windsor County, 6% of the overall of that population lives at or below the poverty level.
Yeah.
So that's 800 and some odd people living at or below poverty. And that's so when you think of that, that's really a huge number who we want to be reaching out to. They're entitled to many services that we can be offering them. And probably a lot of those people have caregivers who are in similar economic situations. So,
Exactly.
so it's really part of my looking forward. My vision for the future is reaching those people. Those are the people that that's why we exist as an agency through the Older Americans Act, is to reach these folks who are desperate for our services, who really need the assistance to continue to live successfully in their communities. So
And Mark,
go ahead.
sorry, you always make me think of things as you're talking. I don't know why,
Me
but
too.
but one of the things that we always struggle with when we're presenting the programs and services is the fact that really the Older Americans Act benefits and programs, they're not charity. And we always need to encourage our older population to realize that, none of us are averse to collecting our Social Security check when we're retired. And we should not be averse to getting some of the benefits that are built and made and specifically targeted to our older population.
Yes, the Older Americans Act was put in place the same year as Medicare and Medicaid. So it was really part of that safety net that Lyndon B. Johnson crafted, and to support Americans as they grow older. And so yes, it's not a charity. It's a support that the government feels is critical to maintaining a strong population. And so
it's only logical, because you have to realize as we get older, our earning capacity diminishes. And the government recognizes that. So, we can't tell people that enough.
But also,
and there's plenty to go around. It's not,
right.
If one
I
person takes something, it doesn't take it away from anybody else.
Exactly.
So our older people like myself, who will be turning 78 in April, we are ultimately a politically powerful group. All right. And I don't think we realize the influence we can have on our politicians and on that situation, running for office, supporting candidates that support the Older Americans Act and so forth. I think we as that population have to be a little bit more proactive.
Well, certainly when you look at the numbers, if you think about a quarter of the population of Vermont being 65 and older by 2030, that's a pretty powerful constituent there that has a voice and can be voting for local representatives and federal government who share their concerns, who are going to advocate on their behalf. Yes.
Joann and I interviewed two legislators that were actively involved for our seniors. All right, remember Joann, that
Right.
the interview?
Oh, yeah. The co-chairs of the Older Vermonters Caucus.
Right.
Teresa Wood and Dan Noyes. Yeah.
And they listened and they want to make a difference. So
and they want people to contact them.
That's right. Right.
There are several important bills in the Vermont State House right now that affect older Vermonters. Bills that would increase the Medicaid reimbursement rates, bills that would provide coverage for hearing aids, and other workforce bills that will enable folks to well, for the workforce to come back to provide personal care and things like that. So it is important to be aware of what these bills are and to contact our legislators in support of those things.
Yeah. And our advisory council is going to be getting more active in that area.
Oh, good.
So, but really all of us, especially because we are encouraged under the Older Americans Act to advocate for older Americans, ergo older Vermonters. So yeah, that's part of our responsibility.
Maybe on our website, we could put the bills that are coming up that are important. So if people go to our website, they know who to contact, etc. It can make a huge difference.
Great idea, Jim.
Well
Thanks.
said, Jim.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we still have a few minutes, so I'm wondering what else you'd like to talk about. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Other thoughts I'd like to share with you.
Well, I can think of one.
All right.
I'm talking to myself. I don't know. I know one thing I do know that is important to you, and it's important to all of us, really. The fact that for the past several years, we have not had a real strong presence in the Upper Valley. And I know we're going to be consistently trying to improve on that, increase our communication and networking. And while we're here, and we're going to spread this all over the state to all the TV stations, like to encourage anyone in the Upper Valley, any of those towns in Windsor County, and of course also Thetford and a couple of others. If you do not have a member on our advisory council, we would invite you to go to your town and be designated. We want to hear from everybody. So I would just encourage that.
Yes.
What else would you like to add?
Well, certainly our advisory council is a critical voice for each community to bring the needs of the community to Senior Solutions, and in the other direction to carry out the message of what we have to offer and how we can support people. You know, so often, you know, I would just quoted some numbers of folks living at or below poverty in Windsor County. So often those people are not connected to the internet. They're not getting information about what's available to them through the electronic means, and so they need a voice. They need a way, someone local who knows who they are, who can maybe stop by, someone who's delivering Meals on Wheels to say, do you know about these services? So the advisory council can really be a voice for older Vermonters in your area to learn about what services are available and to bring those concerns back to Senior Solutions so that we can find ways to reach out more effectively.
Nice. Yeah, true. Very true. Jim, you want to put in any good word here?
Oh, well, I do miss my part-time job, but I'm not returning. But I gained a lot of perspective about the organization and also about the Older Americans Act and so forth. And I got help myself with what do I need to do now with my Medicare? Where should I go? I'm not going to make that decision. I need some help. And we have great people who know those products better than the insurance agent that wants to sell you something else. So I would say people need to contact our line, our helpline, if they have any concerns about the benefits they're receiving. Am I receiving the right amount? Should I do something else? And our people are so knowledgeable. They're not going to tell you to do something, but they're going to present those facts in front of you, and you'll make the decision.
Our Medicare specialists are absolutely, they're very knowledgeable. And frankly, these days, Medicare is so complicated and that it's hard to understand what the right decision is to make when you're faced with those choices. So
And don't we, oops,
we
sorry.
would love to, we're here just to answer your questions, to give you some guidance. We're not going to make the decisions for you, but we'll give you good information to help you make those decisions.
And you can go to the website and find out how to sign up for the new to Medicare classes that are held at least every month. And they're available on Zoom. So if you go to the website, go to the Medicare information page, they'll have a link there where you could send in a message, give your email address so that our specialist in Medicare can send you the Zoom link for the next meeting. You'll find it helpful, like Jim and Mark are telling you, our specialists are not trying to sell anything because we don't sell anything. They just want to have informed consumers among the people who are signing up for Medicare or who need to adjust their programs. So, and I think that, boy, it's a wonderful resource. And by the way, you can also find out where Tracy Blanchard will be visiting at three or four of our senior centers through the month of March. And she handles all of our National Council on Aging benefits, plus she's extremely knowledgeable in the Medicare field as well. So check the website. You'll see there's a calendar in there, and go to your local senior center, make an appointment for when Tracy will be there.
Good.
That's my PSA.
Very good.
So, Mark, I think, I'm not trying to pat you on the back too much, but I think we were all very fortunate that you moved into the role of executive director because you had so much experience in human services. And the fact that you were willing to learn the ropes. And I'm sure the first few months, at least, it was like doing a double Dutch jump rope. And it probably has not slowed down because you're always taking on more responsibility. But thank you for really being a very thoughtful and thorough executive director. And I hope we can all help you present yourself to the public so that they know who the face of Senior Solutions is. And I know you're very well respected in the human services community, but we want to get you out there everywhere. So thank you very much today. Do you have any closing thoughts for us?
Well, thank you. You're very generous, Joann. And honestly, I'm just one face of many that make up Senior Solutions. So I'm happy to do my part and to to work in the community at the levels that I need to, and to support our staff who are out there doing the direct services and really helping folks live as comfortably as possible in the community.
Yeah, and I just thought of one more thing, and then I'll stop talking. Do you have anything you want to say to our volunteer visitors?
I was just going to say the same thing.
Oh, there you go.
Well, sure. It's really striking that our volunteer corps has just exploded over the past 3 years, and that's it really is such a critical piece of what we do, and so we can't thank them enough for their commitment to helping folks in the communities. I hear stories about how they go above and beyond to help people out every day. It's so heartwarming that these volunteers are out there running errands and helping people out in all sorts of ways. that again helps build community and helps folks stay in the places that they want to continue to live in. So
That's right.
absolutely, we have to give a shout out to our volunteers.
Thank you, volunteers. Yay.
Yes, thank you, volunteers.
Yes.
We do love
Thank
our
you.
volunteers. That's true. That's true. Jim, any other thoughts from you or questions? I know we'll think of them as soon as we sign off.
We will. We'll probably have to design another show as a follow-up, Mark.
There
So
you go.
Right.
we often do that, all right?
Sure. Happy to do that.
Mark, we thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Jim, thank you for coming up with some really good questions. And Mark, thanks for doing really good answers. And we hope everybody out there listening to Keeping Up with Senior Solutions has not only enjoyed the program, but hopefully learned a little something about how we can help you, a friend, a relative, and your community. And a special thank you to all our CARES groups and senior centers and local hospitals, aging in place groups, and all kinds of agencies who work with us because, we need that big network in order to really do the job that we want to do. So thank you, guys.
I have
It's
an
been a
opening
pleasure.
line. I have an opening line, Joanne, next show.
Yeah,
I want you to show us how to do the double Dutch jump rope.
Yeah.
okay, that'll
That's
be
how
the
we're gonna
teaser.
start. Okay, Mark can have one end of the rope. I can have the other. You can, okay.
Good, I won't have to do any jumping. All right, thanks again.
All right,
and
we'll see you.
Thank
take
you,
care,
Joanne.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.